Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Great. Alrighty. So let's get this thing underway, shall we? Just doing a little bit of housekeeping here real quick. Hey, this is Tony Ross for the 2021 2D Animation Virtual Summit. Welcome. So if you're joining us, thank you, and thank you for your patience, not only for today, but we I ended up postponing this twice. One because of technical things, and the other because of, well, life happens. And but we were pushing, and I definitely didn't want to postpone this. What's up, Mr. Morris? What's going on, dude? So yeah, didn't want to postpone this or any further. Mr. Morris, I owe you an email anyway. Tim, what's going on, dude? So anyway, what I want to talk about, first and foremost, before you get too excited about being here all day. Today is our kickoff, and I'm not sharing any interviews today. This is going to be a very short day. It's going to be 10 to 12. But let me at least explain to you what's going to be happening. So first and foremost, let me talk to you about what exactly is the 2D Summit, the 2D Animation Virtual Summit. This is our third year, and the very first year, in the middle of me doing a Facebook fast, about a 90-day Facebook fast, I had this crazy idea that, hey, for my birthday this year, it's in September, I'm going to do a 2D animation summit, but I'm going to do it virtually. I said, everything is actually always, you have to travel here, or you have to pay this much amount of money. And so I decided to do this idea and reached out to people that I knew and people that they knew, and put it together in about maybe 30 some days. There were a lot of hiccups and bumps and scratches and bruises that year, but we pulled it off. And the funny thing about it was this is before the pandemic hit. So the summit, for the most part, was a pretty decent success. And the first thing we found out that year, we tried to do a paywall that year. So it was free during that first week, but afterwards, like, okay, if you want to get access to the videos, it was like a paywall. So the second year, after listening to the audience and listening to the community, it's like, okay, we're going to do it absolutely, totally free. But what was really awesome was the second year we came back totally free, and we had sponsors. So both Wacom and Toon Boom saw what we were doing and believed in it enough to actually jump in and say, hey, we're gonna help you with being able to give away some prizes. And I was like, that is awesome. And it's like I said, it's been a learning curve. So the second year, I think I tried to put everybody and their mother in the show, and then I realized, wait a minute, how are you doing all of this, and you're editing all of this? And yeah, came close to a nervous breakdown in the middle of that. So later, fast forward to this year, getting a better grip on how to put this together. We figured out, we're doing about, I want to say It's somewhere. It's either 20 or under. I have lost count right now. But what we're doing is approximately 3 or 4 interviews per day, and showcasing people. And I'm going to be talking about who our guests are this year. And we've got a few people returning. We got some new people, some very exciting people, and also talk a little more about our awesome sponsors. Shout out to Wacom, as well as shouting out to Toon Boom. We're going to be giving away not only some software, but some hardware. More details on that later. I'm not telling you what, and no, we're not doing any giveaways today, but let me tell you this. There should be a link, and I'll put up a link sometime today, but it's like the link, if you're not already on the email list, how we actually do the drawings for the prizes is actually pulled from that list. So, and the way that it works is I'll call your name. You don't have to be here, but just like pretty much like we did last year. Right now, this is live on Facebook as well as on, what is that thing called? Oh yeah, YouTube. So while it's live, it's like, okay, we're going to put that name out, and we'll give everyone about 36 hours to kind of get back in contact with us. Yeah, yo, dude, you called my name. I won the thing. And then we send that out. We will be emailing you when you do win that thing. A couple of people have actually, I've sent emails last year going, I thought this was a scam. It's like, it's not a scam. I'm not asking you for money. I'm usually asking you for your name and address. So, not trying to go to your house, just trying to either mail you stuff, or sometimes with software, that's what they require, to go ahead and send that out to you. So, hi. Oh my gosh. I forgot Nancat. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Let's see. Oh yes, I forgot. So this year, Toon Boom's not only doing, we're going to be giving out some software, but Toon Boom has actually started doing classes. I think we're coming up about the 3rd year of doing online classes, and we're going to be giving away 1 or 2 classes toward the end of the week. And these are like 36-hour classes, so like they have them in all different time zones, and even in several different languages. But everything from, if you want to learn like harmony, the fundamentals of it, or rigging, or I think there's even a gaming class that's coming up, because you can mix harmony animations, export them out for work with Unity. So kind of excited about that. All right, so what am I talking about? Let me think. About the 2D Summit, about this year's panelists. Great. Our sponsors. Talked about our sponsors. Yes. Oh yeah, let me talk about this year's panelists. Duh. So, I will tell you this off the back. We're going to be having our panelists starting tomorrow, and the timing that we're going to be doing is we start at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and what some of the people who are going to be coming up tomorrow are going to be animator and director Mr. DeMille Bryant. He actually might be live, hopefully. If we get everything straightened out right, hopefully we're going to try to do a live interview. Most of our interviews are pre-recorded, so that actually gives us an awesome privilege. I don't know. It makes it easier to actually bring on extra people. Like, let's say, how can I sign up? I believe, hold on one second. Let me see if I have that little thing. Give me 1 second. I am trying to find stuff. So, let me think. What am I looking for? I'm playing DJ right now, so don't mind me. La 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 la. What am I looking for? Overlays. Thank you. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll see if I can find. I think I have an address somewhere. All right, let me make one real quick. Thought I had one. Um, I believe the address is like sign up dot. Hold on one second, and I will tell you exactly. It's like I normally have a co-host first thing in the morning because I am just running like a chicken without his head. Chicken without his head? Something. I don't know. Ba-ba-bum. Oh yeah. It's not that. It is that. Copying. Yes. Okay. So let me try this. Make a new little overlay here. At least I will attempt to. Words. Where's my... By the way, if you're wondering what software I'm playing around with, the software I'm using to pull off the summit is called Ecamm Live. And I've got it hooked up to Restream, I think. I don't know. Weird. Why are you being weird? So yeah, so I have the address. I just got to get it correct. Copy. Yes. Of course, there's lawn care happening behind me right now. So if you happen to hear that. Okay. There. That's what I was trying to send up. Okay. So signup.animationsummit.net. So yeah, there's the address in that. Oh, cool. From all the way from Colombia. What's up? Cool. So what was I talking about? Oh yes. So let me talk about who's going to be on tomorrow. We have Demille Bryant. Hopefully we'll be able to do that live. Also Susanna Rodriguez, who is character designer, illustrator, and I think it's a little bit of animation there. Chris Burns from, I want to say, oh my gosh, I'm going to call that by the wrong thing. But Chris Burns from, I want to say, is it Exit 73 Studios? But he worked, they're working on this awesome 2D game called Blood, like B-L-U-D. Got to talk with him. And our 3-time veteran here has been here. Matter of fact, I think DeMille's been here all 3 years too. Mr. Mark Simon, the godfather of storyboarding, is going to be closing out tomorrow. Which Mark is going to be doing an awesome talk on freelancing and how it doesn't have to be a crap ride. So Mark did a special presentation just for the summit, and love you, Mark. I really appreciate that. Outside of that, Wednesday, we have coming up Joanna Davidovich, awesome animator, and she's got a lot of great advice. And if you haven't seen her work, just kind of look that up, like the animation work that she's done on, I think she did a music video, as well as she does some really cool streams of just kind of showing her really cool style. It's like almost, I want to almost say almost a free, loose UPA style, but I don't know. It's just her own thing. We have, I don't want to call him a living legend because he'll smack me. Let me think. How how do you refer to Tony White? Tony White, pretty much one of the first books I ever purchased to learn animation, and I think it was mid high school maybe. I kept checking it out of the library and finally bought it. So Tony White is hanging out with us, and love him so much. Always some really awesome advice from him. We have animator and director Mr. Tyree Morrow. That's going to be on Wednesday. And my good friend, Mr. Tony Grillo. Not only a awesome friend, but great animation director and animator, and even teaches harmony now. True story. I was the one that got him into it. It's like, dude. So yeah, I am so looking forward to this. Who else we got? Who else do we have? Words. It's like Thursday we have coming up Lindsay Noller, and you may not recognize the name immediately, but she is an awesome Toon Boom rigger, and we met while when she was still working with Toon Boom, but she's going to be we're going to be talking about the we're going to be talking about the 7, I'm going to call this out, this was originally titled The 7 Deadly Sins of Rigging, but we're like, okay, it's the holiday season, we can't call it deadly sins, and I'm like, we can still call it sins, people still sin during the holidays, but it's like we're doing the 7 holiday presents or ideas for that. So that's what's going on. Let me think. Who else is coming up? Let me think. So Thursday is going to be Lindsay. Then there is my good buddy, Mr. Roberto. Me talk good one day. Mr. Roberto Rodriguez, CG animator, and he's got some really cool information and talking about the way things are, and where one of the questions I kept asking a lot of our panelists are like, hey, what do you think is the biggest misconception about being a 2D animator? And Roberto's answers on that are pretty awesome. Oh yeah, what do we got next? We have what is that on Thursday afternoon. We have Laren DeJarnett. Do I have to put my real name on the website to sign up? Well, here's the deal. I need to have, let's put it to you this way. There has to be some sort of way that, let's say, for instance, if you were to win a piece of software, what the companies require of me is that I send them your name, your name, email, and address, and that's usually what they ask for. So I think they have to have something kind of like a real name, so we won't share it publicly, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I guess that's a good question. So, all right, what else are we talking about? So, I was talking about, Laren DeJarnett is going to be on our panel on Thursday. He's a animator and director, and he, works with a small company, Disney, I think. I don't know. Maybe you've heard of it. So, Friday, closing everything out, we have, I call him technically my boss, but it's like he's not, he doesn't like me to call him a boss. But when I contract and I do a lot of training for Toon Boom, like teaching classes, he's the person that I report to. So we figured out that I think he's comfortable with me calling him Grand Poobah. So Mr. AJ Cote is going to be here on Friday talking about the Toon Boom classes that are now being offered. And we also have my awesome friend from across the pond, Mr. Ollie Putland. I'm excited about Ollie because one, his animation is awesome. His voice is even better. I hate him for it. He's a really cool accent. So he, in my opinion, if you look around, there's not a lot of books on rigging or doing something with harmony. I think there's maybe one, but yeah, this what is that? What Ollie did was he put together this really cool thing of like an ebook, so you can pretty much like sign up for that and find stuff. I would look him up on YouTube because Ollie is incredible. I think he just finished. He's working on even more rigs as we speak. Oh yes. So the other one closing out the week, we have animator and director Mr. Robert Valley. If you're not familiar with him, I found out about Robert Valley mainly because he was animating using Photoshop. And so there's one of the first things I saw of his, I think, was maybe pear cider and cigarettes. So, pear cider and cigarettes, and I know he's working on a couple of projects right now. But Robert also did. He was like the director. If you looked at Love, Death, and Robots, in the first season, I guess, what you may have seen was the piece called Zima Blue. He directed that one, as well as in the second one, it's one called Ice. But if you look at that, you'll see some of the stuff he's doing. And yeah, he not only is an awesome director and animator, awesome dude, and I got to talk to him about work and life balance. And that's kind of, if you're brand new to the summit, this is one of the things, like, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about, like, hey, this is how you animate this, or this is what software I'm using. But a lot of it's usually, what's your opinion on this? What animation changed, like, the way you saw things, or in a lot of cases, hey, how do you deal with depression, or how do you deal with work-life balance? If you're trying to get a job, how do you go about doing that? So we try to answer some of those questions. I think a lot of times in our industry, a lot of things are so, what is that? What's the word I always think of? It's a kind of a rainbows and unicorns and everyone's happy. Well, sometimes if you animate them, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes behind the scenes, and so that's one of the reasons why I like doing the summit. And I wanted to put something out that I hadn't seen. Not saying that nothing exists like this, but I wanted to put it out there. And again, just kind of reaching out and checking with people, saying, hey, what are you working on? What do you want to talk about? So that's pretty much what's going on with that. Lastly, okay, those were our panelists. I am going to be one of our sponsors. Technically, we got Wacom, we have Toon Boom, and technically Tony Teach, my company, is sponsoring, because we have some not only new on-demand courses coming up, but there's going to be some live classes I'll be doing, and we'll be announcing that later this week. But one of the things I'm going to be doing here in a few minutes, I'm going to actually do a live demo, because again, this is not going to be a full day. I'm not showing any of the interviews today, but I want to show you just a little bit of a workflow. One of the my specialty is usually working with people in software that may have a steep learning curve. And if you have ever heard anything about working in Harmony, everyone's always talking about maybe the node view and how it's scary, or what are all those wire looking things, and why do you have to do all that? Can't you just animate? Yada, yada, yada. And I will tell you from experience, I was terrified of the node view. I think I literally worked in Harmony Essentials and Harmony Advanced just so I could avoid it. And I would go, yes, I'm only teaching classes in Harmony Essentials, which, speaking of, Am I coming out with a new Harmony Essentials class? Because it's been a while since I've done one. Yes. I think 2018 was the last one we did. So it's about time. Yeah. New software. Gotta update some things. Gonna maybe do a little tutorial on that. Maybe a couple of hours. So we'll see. But yeah, that's what's going on. All right. Did I talk about everything I was supposed to do? Did I? How fast am I talking? Okay, 10:35. Not terrible. So, what I would like to do, is I think I'm going to, that was very, very loud. I'm wearing headphones, and evidently my speakers are very extremely loud. Hold on. let me adjust that, because, ow. The node view is your friend. Sometimes. It's like, if you're nice to the node view, it'll be nice to you. I can honestly say I was in the middle of a project last night after a very long day, and my rig broke, and I cried a little, went to sleep, and got up this morning and worked on it some more. But it's like, yeah, that's the one thing I was chatting with someone about. And I said, we're trying to work on this thing. I said, oh my God, Harmony just crashed. And they said, is that normal? I said, no, it's not normal. It's like it's not like this is that other program that shall remain nameless. Okay, what was I doing? I need to check one last thing here. Where is my... Oh yeah, we're changing our volume before we dive into something. All right. Now. Okay, what am I doing now? Okay, let me get over here. You know what's sad? Occasionally you remember when you're doing stuff like this, it's like, wait, did I eat breakfast? This is why you have to have reminders. Okie dokie. So one of the things I wanted to share with you, and this is actually a little tutorial that's in shameless plug. So I put together something, I think it was last year, maybe. But I put together something called the 21-Day Boot Camp. And the Harmony 21-Day Boot Camp, because I think Harmony has a 21-day demo. It's a weird time, I thought. It's like, it's not, some people are like, hey, here's 30 days, and Harmony comes in with, here's 21 days. So it's like, okay, cool. Can I come up with 21 exercises, little projects, as it were, before, or pretty much, like, you can just dedicate pretty much a day to each one, even if you've never touched the program. So what I wanted to share with you is I'm going to build out one of these little dudes live. And this is actually something I not only use when I'm teaching Tony Teach, but sometimes when working with some of my clients, I'll go, okay, let me share with you, because they're like, oh my God, I don't understand rigging, and I don't understand the node view. So I like to bring up this particular little character to show how to go about doing that. So if you'd like to join along, this is not a class, so look at it as more of a demo. These are being recorded, I think. Yeah, because it's actually on Excuse me, it's actually on YouTube. Oh yeah, by the way, that was the one thing I forgot to tell you. So sometimes when the panelists, sometimes the interview's like maybe 35, 45 minutes, but in some cases, like for instance, whenever I'm talking to Ollie, true story, the first year interviewing Ollie, I think we set up the interview time, and then we talked for about 2 hours before I realized we never asked any questions. It was just us talking. So we had to redo the interview. So I think even this year, I think we stayed on topic, but I think it's still about 90 minutes. Anyway, so what happens during this week is the interviews during the summits, they are edited down so they don't go over 45 minutes. However, the full videos are going to be in a separate playlist starting next week, and these are going to be on YouTube. So you'll be able to see like the full interview, and probably the full interview, I'll say uncensored. I think we censored one thing, but I will tell you this now. One of the things we're closing out with, and I'll warn you before we get there. But it was an awesome time. Robert Valley and I had a great time, and he was talking about the current project he's on and how he's just animating what he wants to animate, and he's not trying to put it into any competitions, or wasn't necessarily doing it for any streaming platform or anything like that. It's just what he wanted to do. And he was talking about how quote unquote effing free that was, but he didn't say effing. So I'll warn you ahead of time, it's an awesome thing. So it felt weird to me to go in and censor someone when they were talking about how free they were. So I was like, no, we're not censoring anything. So I'll warn you on that day, and that's coming up on Friday. But I'll warn you on that day. It's like, okay, if the F-bomb might offend you, yeah, I might want to sit this one out, because I'm not editing or censoring it, because it's a beautiful piece as it is. So just letting you all know. But yeah, that's the one trick I figured out this year, where just finding that little sweet spot right around the 45-minute mark area, and then we have a 15-minute break in between those where I'm talking about or just doodling around on something. I don't know. I think one of the things I might be doing is actually my kid did a drawing, and so if we can time it right, I'll see if we'll rig one of her drawings, because I thought it looked pretty cool. So anyway, now this, what you see on your screen, is Stick Dude here, and even though I have Harmony 21 on my system, I just have this open in Harmony 20, and this is Harmony Premium, and this is just a simple little what do I have that? Yeah, simple little stick figure, drawn all out on one layer. Nothing fancy, ugly color. It's just here. And the idea that I was sharing with someone is, how would you take this, and whether you've drawn this in Harmony or whether you've drawn it, let's say, in Photoshop or Illustrator, how would you go about separating this and building out a rig? And I like the idea of this because it's simple. I'm not worried about anyone's lip sync or eyes or anything like that. This is just coming in and rigging this together. So I'm going to share with you a slight overview here, just moving some things out of my view so I can see a little bit better. This is, you know what, I think I need to probably eventually get 2 monitors. Okay. So on my right hand side, this is called the node view, for those of you who are brand new to this program. So the node view is kind of it works just like, it works in connection with the layers, so they're connected that way. But because because of the node view, you're actually allowed to do, or you can do a lot more things easily with nodes than you can do with layers. So one of the first things I'm going to do, by the way, I'm going to press the letter A on my keyboard. Nope, press the letter D. Thank you. Ah. So if I've got this little stick dude node selected and I press the letter D, meaning disable, I can press the letter A to enable it. So that's just all in one layer. The first thing I want to do is I've got my selection tool, and I'm going to do something called distribute this to layers. So I want to come up here to where it says drawing, and then come down to distribute to layers. All right, which, by the way, I probably should save this as something different. Save as, what are we saving? We'll just call you Stick Dude Summit. True story, I was teaching this and somebody said, we were rigging this character out, and somebody said, my paintbrush won't work. And I said, why are you using a paintbrush? And they said, I want to give him a hat. And I was like, we're not doing hats. This is the reason we're not worrying about color or fingernails or anything weird with this. It's just a very simple little thing. So what we did by distributing it to layers, it took each individual piece and put it on its own layer. Now, if I look over this, look at this in my node view, it's like, dude, that's a lot of craziness going on there. So one of the things I want to do is, go ahead and straighten this out a bit. This is what I like to call the peacock. It's not really called that, but there's this little thing up here that says order node view down. So I'm going to separate these out so I can see them a little better. And these are just our little default settings here. So I'll click OK. And now, if I scroll over, you'll see there are all of our little layers. This is why I call it a peacock, but it's not really called that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cheat a little bit and go to my timeline. The reason I want to go here is I want to name out my layers. Now, when you get deeper into this, and I know there's some of you Harmony users are going to cringe at the fact that I'm not duplicating my arms or duplicating my legs. I think those are important, but when I'm first teaching someone, it's like, nope, you're going to learn the long way first. So, one of the first things I'm going to do, I have something on here called a light table. So this little light bulb here, which basically means whenever you're selecting a layer, so this layer is selected, Stick Dude 14, it means that everything else is frosted back. So I can actually go, oh cool, that's his foot. Now, the other thing, sometimes people talk about right and left foot. I'm going to just say front and back. And that way it's cool if I decide to flip this later. All right, so I'm going to actually use my timeline here. So I'm going to do front foot, like FRT, FOOT. Sounds good. And then I'm just going to come down and keep going to each one. Seriously. And try to stay consistent with my naming. For instance, do I want to call this calf or do I want to call this lower leg? I think we're going to call it lower leg today. Like I'm just going to do LWR, LEG, sounds good, which means that this next one is probably the upper leg. Now, the other thing is, if you notice, I'm using underscores. When you're working in Harmony, it's working almost like a web page or like a database. So there's like dashes or underscores. There's not usually spaces. Okay. So if we do front, upper, UPR, leg. Seriously, bro? Quit it. Okay. And now, if I click this next one, it looks like the hand here is highlighted, but it's the back hand. Like BK _ HA and D, end D. So, and again, this is what I was talking about. If I'm going to do upper and lower leg, I'll do the same thing with the arm. So instead of forearm, I'm just going to call this back lower arm. Now, if I were doing this in a video tutorial, I'd probably go like, I don't know. I can't remember if I actually went through all of this step by step or not, but sometimes I'll go, we're going to speed through this a little bit. But this is, you're going to be suffering through my typing today, so. Upper arm. This is probably a good time to save. You actually do have, what's that called? You have a auto save you can turn on. I usually don't have mine turned on because I like having, when I record, I don't like having little windows pop up, so that's just me. Okay, so this is the back foot, BKFOOT. La 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 la. Which reminds me, we're probably, not probably, we're talking, I was talking with Chris Cartledge, my good friend, brother, and biz buddy. We're talking about coming up with another rig, and maybe we're going to put out a 360 rig, but from the standpoint of making it as simple as possible. And no disrespect to my colleagues that are out there. For instance, Ollie can put out a simple rig. Great, and it's going to be awesome, but it's simple for Ollie. So if Tony Teach or I put out a rig that's simple, my target audience is like beginners and like because a lot of people are trying to dive and go, I want to learn 360 rigs. And it's like, cool. Do you know anything about the program? No. Great. Let me dial this way back. So that's usually what I do. And so we're looking at the idea of doing things. I think we're planning around with maybe doing a bowling ball. Like this perfect little sphere dude or whatever. But, okay, what is that? The front lower leg? Yes. No, that's the back lower leg. My bad. So the idea, I hate it when that happens. If I didn't, I just scrolled and I didn't commit. So the idea is putting together, like, how do you go about using master controllers? Do you have to use them all the time? Do all those keyframes have to be there? What's the difference between using the grid system versus using the slider system? Do you have to use deformers? Can you just use drawing substitutions? There's all these little fun things that, and for the most part, let me think, what is that, the back lower leg? Yes. For the most part, these are questions that I had when looking at this and thinking, okay, this is what confused me the most. So I try to put that into tutorials. Also, for people who are teaching the software, what I try to do is go, okay, here's where your students are going to actually slip up. Okay, so this is going to be the front hand. All right, this is the front lower arm. La 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 la. Okay, upper arm. La 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 ba ba ba. Okay, yay, we're almost to the end. Torso. Give it a really complicated name. And the head. Now, technically, and for those of you cringing on this, technically I probably should have given it his name like if I'm calling this stick dude, so it would be like SD front hand, SD front lower arm, and doing things like that. So it's actually labeled versus just saying, oh, head or torso. When you're labeling your layers and even your nodes, you'll want to do this because if you decide to bring in another character, you can't have two layers called the same thing. Kind of the same thing when you're working with a palette. Instead of you saying, oh, this is the color of the shoes. Well, whose shoes? Are they Bob's shoes? Are they Ethel's shoes? Whose shoes are they? So yeah. All right, so got all those labeled off. This last little layer, that's the original one, so I can delete that. So I'm just gonna come up here and click on minus. Great. Now, here's where we start having a little bit of fun. One, it's probably a good time to save. Where are we on time? Oh yeah, great. So, if you just joined us, we'll be doing this just, today is our short day. Just me doing some little live stuff. And we'll be picking up the rest of the summit during the week. For those of you who were wondering, like I said, we're going to be giving away some stuff later on. We're not doing giveaways today. So, you still actually have some time to sign up. Let me think. La, 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 la. I'm trying to find my sign up thingy. Words. Where are we at? Where are my windows? All right, thanks. So yeah, so you still have time to sign up for our giveaways that are going to be happening later this week. We're going to be giving away software and hardware from our sponsors, and I may actually do a class or give away a class or two. So let me get back over to Harmony real quick. All right. So what I'm going to do now is this part is going to be about the node view itself. So we have all these different pieces, and this is what I was talking about earlier. So it does correspond when you actually click things here. It still works the same way in your view. So what I want to do is I'm going to break up each of these sections. So the leg, the front leg, the back leg, torso, arm, front arm and back arm, and the head. Each one is going to be set up to what's called a composite. Now, if you look up here, in the one of the first times when I was playing around with this program, I would think when people told me to clean up my node view, this is what it meant. This is not what it means. Cleaning up your node view is mainly about coming in and actually dividing this up. So instead of everything going into this one composite, I'm going to have it so everybody has their own composite. So little subgroups, as it were. And I don't want to even say the word group, because groups are a totally different thing inside this program. But we'll say a subcomposite, sort of. All right, I think I can say that. So here's the deal. Right now, look here, this goes front foot, front lower leg, front upper leg. Cool. Great. I'm going to, I could use my shortcut keys and do, Control H to get a composite, or I'm just going to copy this one. So I can select composite. And even though it's connected to everyone, if I copy this, Command C, Control C on PC, and then go ahead and paste it, Command V, hey, there's composite 1. And this is what I was telling you earlier. The way the program works, you can't have two things called the same thing. So, me copying composite and pasting it, it gave me composite underscore 1. So a couple of things I want to do here. One, I'm going to change the name of this. So this is going to be my front arm. Nope, that's the front leg, sorry. Front leg dash comp for composite. Secondly, I'm going to change the mode here. Make this a pass-through. What this allows it to do is just it's kind of playing as a middleman, as well as when you are working with rigging, you almost always want to use pass-through, to the point of it's an actual default parameter you can set. I think we're good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this off and teach you a little trick here. If I hold down, let's move, grab my space bar. If I hold down my Option key, that's Alt and PC, and I click and drag this into this cable here. Now the front foot is now connected to the front leg comp, which of course is connected to the main comp. Now from here, I'm going to pull in front lower leg and the front upper leg. And these little dudes, I'm going to come over here just so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Okay. So, if anything, the other reason I like this tutorial is kind of like a lather, rinse, repeat. By the end of this, you're going to know some little rules about working in or rigging some basic things in Harmony. Okay, so what's up next? The backhand. Now, it might seem like a weird order here, but we're going to put these in order once we are completely done. So, I'm going to go ahead and copy this composite and paste it. So here we have, that's going to be the back arm. So I'm going to change this name. So we'll do BK Arm Comp. Thank you. And as before, I'm going to hold down my Option key, click on this and drag it in. Let go of the mouse, let go of the keyboard. Alright, and drag this other one in. So if you notice, I'm not just kind of clicking in, I'm just kind of dragging these over just so I have a little more wiggle room. So the reason you would do this, just when we're talking about cleaning up your node view, previously we had 6 cables feeding into the main composite. We currently have taken those 6 and broken it down into 2. So we just have our front leg comp feeding into the main comp and our back arm comp feeding into the main comp. So we're not rigging yet. This is just a little bit of organizing, getting everyone going where they should be. My composite is still in my clipboard, so I can just paste. And this is the back leg. So change FRT to BK. This is just my little abbreviations for like front and back. Seriously, quit that. Hold on Option, drag that in. All right, and here's the front hand, front lower arm, front upper arm. Okay, cool. That basically means we need our front arm composite. So again, I'm changing this name. Shout out to shout out to Stylish Rumble, because if she's watching this, she's screaming because I can hear her in my head right now. She has a way of doing where you set up all the stuff previously, so you're not having to even where you're trying to actually bring in a drawing with a peg attached to it. She already has library templates for that, and it's an awesome system. She also shows you how to build out templates where you can just kind of go in and do name replacement, so your work is already done for you. And again, it's awesome. But I'm from the school of, if you've ever taken any type of programming and they show you, by the way, here's the extremely long way how to do something, and then they show you, here's how you can do it the short way. So especially when people are beginning, I like to try to go this extremely long, tedious way, just to get you a little more comfortable with it. Okay, so this is starting to look pretty decent so far. What do we got? Torso and head. Do I want them to have their own composite? Probably. Why? Even though they're only one piece right now, what I like to do is something called, I'd like to consider kind of future proofing. meaning if I decide later to add eyes and a mouth and a hat to this little dude, I'm probably going to need all of that into a composite. So let's do paste. Seriously? Open up. Thank you. So we'll call this the head comp. Seriously? And we'll do one more. Quit that. If you ever open it, it's like if you ever open these up by accident, it's this little tiny arrow. I don't like those thumbnails because they take up too much of my real estate. On paste, we'll do a torso comp. So, if you're just joining us, just a reminder, yes, this is the 2D Animation Virtual Summit. We'll be having our panelists start up tomorrow, and these are a lot of them are going to be pre-recorded. Hopefully, we're going to try something different tomorrow. We're going to have a live guest. Going to see if we can interview. I think we're going to be interviewing DeMille live, so that'll always be fun. Okay, torso comp, great. So let me clean this up a little bit. I'm going to grab all of the drawings here. Move these up a little bit. Seriously, bro, quit it. All right, so I'm going to move these up a little. And we'll come up here and say, can you align all of these? That's cool. Let's grab all of our composites and align those as well. All right, not terrible. So we went from a peacock to having these little groups here. Not bad. So next up, what you may have also heard about when you're working inside of Harmony is working with something called a peg. Let me go ahead and save. So what are pegs? Pegs allow you to move your artwork, and it's a much more efficient way of working. Do you have to use pegs? No. Is it the standard practice if you're trying to get into a studio? Yeah, it is. So especially if you're doing cutout animation. So what is a peg? I have this piece of artwork right now, but in theory, if I try to move it, there's no little bounding box around here, so I can't animate that on its own. So what I need to do, I'm going to grab these three. I'm going to add a peg to each one of these. And what a peg is going to do is it actually moves the artwork for us. So it's kind of like a exoskeleton, so to speak. Anyway, pardon my geekness. So I'm going to do, let's do Command Shift P, Control Shift P on PC. And basically, I just gave a peg to each one of these. So if you notice when I click on them, it's a nice little yellow bounding box there. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to zoom out here. And if you look, dead center, there's this little circle. That is our pivot point, or where things would rotate from. If you think about a pivot point, and if you're used to After Effects, it's called an anchor point. But think of putting a push pin in a piece of paper. Where that push pin is going to depend on where it's going to rotate from. Okay? So to adjust this, I'm going to grab the peg here. I'm going to come up to the top. These are called the advanced animation tools. So what I'm going to use, I can either use Translate or I can use the Rotate tool. Typically, if you're working on a character, it's best to use the Rotate because that way you can test out to see if it's rotating the way you want it to. Now, by default, if you look, this little pivot point is dead center. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on this dot, the blue dot in the middle, and drag this down to where the foot is. So I'm going to zoom in. By the way, I'm just scrolling on my mouse to zoom in. I'm going to pretty much place the pivot point right at the angle here. And the reason I like to use the rotate, I can test this to see, yeah, that's about how I'd want his foot to bounce or rock, or rotate, words. So let me undo that and get that keyframe out of there. Great. So now I'll go to the lower leg. Now if you look, as soon as I've done that, the lower leg is highlighted. Let me go here. And again, that pivot is here by default. What I want to do, I'm actually going to place this, since this is one of the reasons it's designed this way. I'm actually going to place this in the center. Where would his kneecap go? Okay, so right there. All right. And then we'll go to the upper leg and come up right above there to where that would be. So I'm just going to check each of my pivots, make sure they're right. So I click on the foot. Great, that's there. Click on the lower leg. Great, this is the kneecap. And the upper leg is at the hip. Awesome. So again, lather, rinse, repeat. What are we doing next? Go to the next one. This is on the back arm here. So I'll do, again, Command-Shift-P. At least I think I'm going to do that. Thank you. Control-Shift-P on PC. And here we're going to do the hand. And again, I'm going to place this right at, I think I want to place it there. Let's see. What does that look like? That's not terrible. Going to undo that. And then I'll grab the lower arm. This is going to go where the elbow would be. So kind of right between here. And then the upper, let's place it right about at the shoulder. Now, whatever I'm doing here, I'm going to try to keep that consistent when I have to do the other arms. Same thing with the legs. Okay. Now, could I have actually selected all of these and just did a peg at the same time? Yes, I could. However, it just makes more sense. Again, the way I'm using this is more of as a what is that? A beginner tutorial. So I try to go step by step. All right, so let's do Command-Shift-P. Great. Foot. So let's zoom all the way out, zooming back in. By the way, what I love about my scroll, I can put wherever I place my cursor. Let me show you this. If I go, let's place the cursor where the head is, and I start zooming in, that's where it goes. That's why I like the little scroll wheel here. All right, so for the foot, again, we're going to come into the ankle. Looks good. For the lower leg, it's going to go to our kneecap. And back upper leg, it's going to be the hip. So again, I'm going to check this. Foot, yep. Knee, and great. That looks good. And let's go to the hand, or excuse me, the front arm. So we'll do Command-Shift-P. All right, so we'll go right at the base of the hand. Come here again. Go about where the elbow is. And here we'll go to the shoulder. All right. Now, last but not least, we have our torso and our head. So, Command-Shift-P. Get both of those out of the way. Torso. I'm going to go ahead and place this right at the base of the torso. And for the head, I think I want to do this right where the neck would be. Let's see. What does that look like? I think he agrees. Okay, cool. Command-Z. Let me undo that. Okay. Now, so we've gone to the next phase. We basically, the first thing we did was broke up everything to its own layers. Then we gave each of the sets, or each of the appendages, their own composite. So we have like front leg, back leg, yada, yada, yada. Then we went through each one of these drawings and gave them a peg and set their pivot points correctly. So where would they rotate from? So we just, what was that? We just celebrated Halloween here in the States. So when you think about rigging, or when I like to describe it as like you have those little paper Halloween skeletons, how are they broken up and how would that work? So what I'm going to do next is the rigging part. So basically we have our foot here, our front leg. So what I'm going to do, I need to have I have a peg that can control, let me show you this, come down to my transform tool. I have a peg that can control my foot here. That's great. I'll undo that and get rid of that key. I have one that can control the lower leg. That's cool. All right. However, what I need is something that can control not only the lower leg, but the lower leg and the foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a peg that comes on there. Let's see, Tony, with the distribute to layers function, how does that work? Is it distributing every stroke, groupings of art? I never knew that function was there. You learn something new every day. Thanks. Okay. Yes. Okay. Awesome question. Here's the deal. The way that I drew this out, they're individual pieces of art. However, if I had drawn a hat, and under the keep bringing up the hat, but if I drew a hat on that little thing, but I'd grouped the head along with the hat, it's going to, and by the way, art group, not layer group. But if you group the actual drawings, when you go distribute, it'll distribute the groups. Okay, so either a group or drawing. That's the way it works. Okay? Awesome question. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got the little front leg here. I'm going to create a peg that can control the front lower leg as well as the foot. So to do this, I have front leg selected here. I'm going to do Command P, not Command Shift P. Command P is just a quick way to add the peg there. And what I'm going to do here, one, change the name. So for instance, this is the front lower leg instead of P, so it's peg. I'm going to do MSTR for master, meaning I want to have this particular peg control this other one. Now, right now I'm kicking myself because I'm sitting here and I don't have the my script typed in or set in for me to do this next following step. What I need to do is make sure that this master peg and this lower leg peg have the exact same pivot point, the exact same. So the reason I'm giggling is there's scripting inside of Harmony, and I set this up in my Harmony 21, but I did not set it up in my Harmony 20. But you can say, oh, by the way, let me copy the pivot point coordinates from this leg and then put it to the master, which again, the master by default is right here, dead center. So I'm going to go the long way. How do you go the long way? So I have over here, I've got several tabs. I have my camera tab, my drawing tab, which just shows you that individual piece, but I also have layer properties. So right now I have this peg selected. So it says, hey, what? That's front lower leg peg. Great. And toward the bottom, scrolling all the way down, it says pivot. The x-axis is 1.61 west. By the way, not making it up. And the other one is 5.3711 south. What are we talking about? North, south, east, and west. Remember, if I click on this one, by default, your pivot point is dead center. So if I look at the layer properties here, this is 0 and 0. So what it's looking at is the coordinates. So your coordinates are left to right are your X coordinates. Up and down are your Y coordinates. And if you ever forget that, remember the letter Y has that little thing that actually goes up and down in the letter. So, yes, that's how I remember it. So, let's go over here. I need front lower leg peg. Let's go to properties. So, this is the long way. Be sure to pull up Harmony 21 tomorrow so I can start doing this the short way. So, I'm going to copy this. Come up here to this new peg, our lower leg master, and I'm going to paste that information. Alright, same thing. I'll come down to the lower leg again. What is my Y information? Copy that. Go to this one. And we'll paste. So, why on earth did I do that? If you look now, lower leg peg, that's where that pivot point is. And if I click on the upper leg peg, it's in the exact same spot. Okay? So pegs, if you notice, are yellow, little bounding boxes here. This is because I have my transform tool. And when you have a master, the one that's kind of a peg of a peg, you'll notice it's got a little red line around there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, and by the way, if you're ever looking at if you are ever looking at a rig and wondering why things are lined up a certain way, I'm going to show you this. It'll easily have this way over here. However, I'm making sure this is lined up perfectly above this. Why? Because they share the same pivot point. Okay, so I could try to line this up over here, but it's not going to have the same pivot point as the foot. So I drew this out or made this out so they have the same pivot. What I'm going to do now, remember this one is a master. It's going to be controlling not only the lower leg, but the foot. So I'm going to pull another cable out, which by the way, that's technically their name, cable. Thread, line, whatever, but it's called a cable. I'm going to pull this out and then connect this to the foot, which basically means if I click on this little dude now, guess what? There's that little pivot. I can actually move both of those now. All right, let me undo that. So, lather, rinse, repeat. What we need now is a peg that can control the lower leg as well as the upper leg. So, this time, we'll add another peg up here. So I'll do Command P, Control P on PC. And this is kind of a little hierarchy here. I'm going to bring this up. It's like little stairs. I'm going to have this directly above this Y. Well, need to change the name. Front, upper leg, MSTR for master. All right. And I'll come over here. Let's click on the lower leg. Upper leg peg. And that's where that pivot point is. All right. So I'm going to go to layer properties. And that's 1.2. Well, it's a long name. Copy. Come over here. And we'll paste that. And come back over here for the lower leg. I keep saying lower leg. It's the upper leg. So we'll copy that coordinate. And come down to the bottom. And paste. So yeah, again, there's a shorter way of doing this. And it's using scripting. And it's an awesome script. That alone to me was like, I was excited because there's an old way you can kind of go and find scripts that people have made. And in 20, and you can actually update or add those. In 21, that little copy and paste pivot point script is already built in the system. You just have to go, yeah, add this one in. Okay, so now, front upper leg master and the upper leg have the exact same pivot point. So as before, I'm going to pull another cable from this and connect it to the upper leg. So if you're looking and wondering why on earth would you actually separate things into their own composites, this would be why. Secondly, I'll share something with you. This is why it's pretty cool. If I click on the foot, by the way, let me do something really quick. Go to my tool properties here and make sure I'm only selecting my pegs. Peg selection mode, please. Great. Okay, cool. So if I click on the foot, that's awesome. And I can rotate the foot. He's tapping his foot. Great, 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 great. But what if I want to grab the foot and the calf here? What I would do, well, let me undo that real quick. Thank you. So I have my foot selected. On my keyboard, I'm going to press the letter B. Oh, cool. Now I have both of those. Okay. What if, I'm going to make this a little figure 4. Great. Yeah, it's a 4. What if I press the letter B again? It goes even further up the hierarchy. So I can kind of do that. Get our Captain Morgan on. And what if I want to go down the hierarchy? Hold down my Shift key, press Shift B. It goes down the hierarchy. And Shift B again. Don't be afraid to point that toe. Okay. Now, not terrible, but let me be very clear on something. If I do something weird with all of this, the reason that pegs are awesome, it's kind of like having a smart object, if you're familiar with those, working in Photoshop. I can select this upper leg and press the letter R. So, of course, as soon as I'm doing that, quit it. Let's go here, press the foot, and let's do B and B. I'm going to press the letter R. Thank you. And do Shift B, press R again. And of course, what I'm trying to do, and this is going to go really wrong, R, thank you. And R once more. Great. What am I doing with R? I'm basically resetting this. So where the original position was, that's where everything is now. But yeah, my hierarchy is still here. I can still select individual pieces if I want, but I can also move up and down the hierarchy just using the letter B. Where'd my node view go? There you are. So I'll show you this here. My cursor's over here. If I press B, look, it went there. Press B again, it goes up there. So that's what's happening. And also this is why this is placed in that order. It's not just random. Okay. Meanwhile, what I want to do. Wait 1 quick second. Close that out real quick. All right. So, what I want to do next is I'll do this other. What's the next appendage? Is that an arm? Yeah, it is. Okay. So the same thing as before. I can come over here and I'll do Command P, and this is going to be my back lower arm master. All right, and we'll come over, go to our layer properties, and just copying our pivot information and paste. Yike. Seriously? What did you just do? Words? That was weird. Oh, I didn't copy everything. I only copied the north part. Let's copy the full coordinates. All right. So that's there. So we'll take our cable and connect it there. By the way, if you're wondering, why is Tony calling it a cable? And honestly, I called it everything until, and thinking Harmony, was it in 20? They came up with this little thing called the cable cutter, which was just like, oh, which just does click here and go yoink. So it's kind of cool. But it was at that point that I said, oh, cables, that's what we're supposed to call them. So yes, threads, lines, roots. Some people say it looks like a little, I don't know, like a subway grid or something. Anyway, let's go to this next one. We'll do Command P. Quit it. Go up there. And again, we're going to copy our upper arm pivot information. And to the upper arm master. So I'm copying the X and Y coordinates. And that's going to be my upper arm master, MSTR. Great. All right, and I'll go ahead and connect that. And see if I can do this next one a little faster. I've got about 30 minutes left. This is our short day. And I'll close out by telling you in theory, the approximate times that people are going to be on shows tomorrow. Mark Simon, I know, is going to be our headliner for tomorrow, I believe. I'll be closing out with him. He's going to be showing you some tips and tricks on freelance, which it was incredibly awesome. Not only ways of how to gain and keep your clients, but we even chatted a little bit about taxes, which was like, I'm like, great, I have money. What do I do with it? So let's go ahead and do this next leg here. Let's do Command P, and this is going to be our back lower leg master. Or excuse me. Yes, thank you. So that's good. So we'll copy. Get out of there. So we'll copy our coordinates. All right, looks good. All right, call it there. Oh yeah, what am I doing? Oh yeah, that looks right. Cool. I was looking at the spacing here and trying to figure out where I was, but I'm back in the right spot. Command P, great. Let's bring you up top. Let's quit it. Thank you. Okay, so let's change your name. So you're the master. And by the way, if you're noticing sometimes, Tony, what are you doing? Sometimes I keep seeing you pop up a little window. If I double click, this is actually layer properties. However, with the workspace here, I have a layer property already set up. So sometimes I actually change my name here. Sometimes I change it other places. So, all right, layer properties here. Let's grab our coordinates. All right, sounds good. And if I go back to my camera view, let's grab, there's our upper leg master. There's there. So I'm going to pull a cable, make that make that connector. So if you notice, there's just the way this is starting to come together. And we have I quit that. One of our last appendages to do. We'll do a thing here. Okay. So what I'd like to do, one, let's grab our pivot information. It's copying our X and Y coordinates and pasting these. That's right. Something I totally forgot to do. I'm curious. Where's everybody channeling in from right now? Like, where are you currently? I'm in Atlanta. So I'm curious. Where is everybody? Feel free to just pop that into the screen. Okay. Next we'll do the upper arm. Do our pivot, or excuse me, not pivot, but our peg. MSTR. Great. La 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 la. Tim. All the way from Shanghai. Awesome, dude. And yeah, we almost have to see if we can grab you here, like, locally one day. Well, not locally, but at least virtually. I was checking out the tutorial you just popped in there. Okay, I'm going to mess up the front part of that, but you're from Arizona. So I'm going to have to look that up, how to pronounce that. I don't know if I've actually heard that before. Tim, that means a lot. Thank you. It's like, yeah, it's like, that's the other thing I'm trying to do, especially when teaching beginners. If I can show, like, this is why it needs to look very nice. It's kind of like, because you never know when you're going to have to hand it off to someone. And just good practice. Okay, so where are we currently? Let's see. Sorry, did I finish that one? Oh, no. We have to copy our information. So, by default, again, your pegs are going to be dead center, where the pivot point is. So I'm just copying my information from where I set the original ones. So let's copy that. So the funny thing is, I was chatting with someone, some of my colleagues. This one, not so much. But when you're talking about rigging, a decent rig can take anywhere from maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. It depends on how complex it is. This one is not going to take me that long. However, if I'm doing something, let's say if you've seen, what is that, America the movie that's on Netflix, that Floyd County, right here in Atlanta did. If you see their rigs behind the scenes where you click on, and I say this with love, but when they show the George Washington character of the rig or puppet, however you want to word it. But when you see all the controllers, it looks like it kind of goes glow in the dark because there's so many controllers. Yeah, that won't, me doing a stick figure versus that, it's like, how far on the spectrum can you go? It's pretty slick, and like, it depends on how deep down the rabbit hole you want to go, you know? So yeah, we're not doing anything crazy here. This is just showing you the basics of how everything is rigged together. Okay. Where are we on time? Am I doing good? 11:38. Great. All right. So, here's a fun thing. We're down to the torso and the head. How do I want to do this? I think I need... Do I wanna? Probably. I think I'm gonna do... Grab the torso here. We'll do Command P. We're going to do a torso master that will control the torso and the head, I think. Or not. How do I normally do this? I think. I'm probably going to change that later. But for instance, let's drag this up here. And we'll give this the same coordinates, of course, as the torso itself. Copy. Yes, please. And paste. Great. Then we'll go ahead and connect the head, I think. Now, that part is done. However, little shortcut here. If I look down at my timeline, it's like, bruh, what is going on? So let me show you this. One, if I press the if I press the number 0 on my keyboard, it collapses everything. By the way, if you want to see everything, you press the number 9. So this is in my timeline. So I'm going to press the 0 again just to show you. This is not how a character would normally look. Okay, so on your timeline, usually it's like only one peg there that's controlling all the other little pegs. So let's do a little more cleanup here. 41. The first time I saw these, I was just like, what the heck is that? And I was watching someone's tutorial and they weren't saying what these things were. Backdrops. Backdrops are your friend. Okay, what is this first one? It's our front leg. So watch this. I'm going to click and drag to select the composite and all of the pegs for our front leg. Come over here to my little drop down, come down to insert. Thank you. And I'm going to insert what's called a backdrop. So this little dude here, and I say dude a lot, just get used to it. So this is basically the leg, and I think my biz buddy Chris got me onto doing this. So where the legs, I'm going to change the name here. So we'll call this what, front leg? Sure. By the way, I'm going to actually use spacing. It's one of the few places you can use the space. And I'll go ahead and make that blue. All right, so there's our front leg. And for those of you who are cringing and going, Tony, this is out of order. Yeah, I know. But putting our little backdrops on here is going to help me put them in order. So you're going to move you over here for a second. And we will grab this next one. Okay, that's the back arm. Okay, how do you know it's the back arm? Because it's right here. Why aren't you calling it the right or the left arm? It's just a animation practice. Some people have started getting back into doing right and left, but I still do front and back because sometimes when you're working with characters, you will be flipping the character words because they are symmetrical. So that's the back arm. All right, let's move you over here. You're going to be green, I think. Back arms are green. So BACKARM. Huh, not bad. I might actually be able to finish rigging this before noon. I'm trying to give you all a little bit of time to actually tell you what's coming up next, or what's coming up tomorrow rather, because this is not going to be a full day. The rest of the week we are going to be doing like 10 to 3. Today it's going to be 10 to noon. This is just our little kickoff and me showing off just a little bit in my one of my favorite not even one of my favorite animation program. Doesn't have to be yours, it just happens to be mine, not just because they're our sponsor. So but yeah, this is me working in Toon Boom Harmony. What is this, dude? Back leg? Yes. So let's do our backdrop. And make that blue. Thank you. Back leg. Move you there. Great. And there's our other arm. So is this the back arm? Nope, it's the front arm. Okay, cool. So, am I putting the cart before the horse? Am I putting these together? Pretty much, I'm putting them together. So that's the front arm. Or putting the backdrops here because it's going to be easier to put it in order because I can just slide or move things around as an entire unit, as it were. Okay. And what I would like to do on this last little dude, let's actually organize this bottom part a little bit. Bring this down. It's going to be this weird little space shuttle cathedral looking thing by the time we're done. Yeah, feet, sure. Okay. What I'd like to do next. One, let's drag these last little pieces over. Thank you. Bring you up a little bit. These are snapping in order. Excuse me, snapping in, what's the word I was looking for? Line? They're like snapping a little line snap here. Okay, so I'm going to make a tiny one here for the torso. Tiny torso. Torso. Sounds great. And make a tiny one here for the head. Seriously? Oh, wow. It is there. Head will be red-ish. Okay. So, what I want to do now, this is not bad, but when you're talking about rigging, technically this is kind of all whacked out. So we would probably place the head, excuse me, not probably, be like head, torso, arms, then legs. So from the left to the other side there. So I'm going to cheat just a little bit. One, I'm going to zoom out. If I grab both of these, the head and the torso, let's drag this way over here. That's cool. Then grab the head. I can pull this over here. Not terrible. By the way, am I crossing my wires? Yeah. Could I just actually cut all the wires? Probably. Now, I want to do my front arm. I can go up here for a second. Back leg, front leg. Okay. So now, I'm putting these in a little better order, sort of. This is bugging me a little bit there. Thank you. Okay, so front arm, back arm, yes please. Front leg, and back leg. Yike, don't you dare disconnect. All right, now, again, I can come over here and place these in the correct cable order just by clicking and moving them where I want them to be. Just so they're a little less crazy. Which, by the way, if I hold over this long enough, it actually shows me what line that is. It's my back arm. Cool. Okay. That looks a little better. And where are we on time? Oh, great. Perfect. So, what I'm going to do now. Head, torso, front arm, back arm. Technically, what I want to do is an upper body peg. Okay? So, I can grab this. That's my head and torso. And let's see, matter of fact, see if I can do it this way. I think I could hold on my command key. Thank you. And then select the back arm, front arm and the back arm. What I'm going to do now, so I've got, if you look, hey, cool, that's the entire upper body. So I'm going to do Command P, which gives me a single little peg that's connecting all of those. And guess what? It just is called something complicated like peg. So, by the way, where the hell would this go? Or heck. HE double hockey sticks. Okay. So, this is going to be right above the torso. Why? Because we're going to make sure it has that same pivot point. Okay? So, come over here to my layer properties. Copy. Seriously, bro? Quit it. Triple click. Thank you. Copy. Go here. And paste. Come down here. And we'll copy our Y. Why do you put it in that order instead of putting the head and torso in the middle and having the arms and legs on both sides? Good question. Because, and I had to learn this the hard way. I was talking to one of our panelists about this a couple of months ago, Lindsay Noller, and like her specialty is rigging. So we're talking about when the way that, or I guess the, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a quote unquote standard, but it's one of those things that when you first look at a rig, you should be able to jump to anyone's rig and kind of read it in that order. So it usually is going to go with the head on this side, and then it kind of goes toward the bottom to like the way you'd read things. Also in the node view, on the left, by default, the left means you're the front. So that's another way of looking at everything kind of flows this direction. Okay. All right. Where did my camera go? Where's my spy camera? Oh, wait. Did I not do that? One of your properties is off. What is that one? Okay. Copy the bottom one, is that? Hello from Granada. Awesome. Hello to you from Atlanta. Okay, so what did I do wrong? What did I miss on that one? I'm trying to figure out why that peg looks... that's why. It's at a 0. Paste. Thank you. Okay, so what was I looking at? I was making sure the pivot point, torso, and this one is going to be the same. Great. So I'm going to change the name here. Instead of peg, this is going to be my upper body peg. Okay. And last but not least, are you saying spy? Yeah, where's my spy camera, lady? Where's my spy camera? Where's my spy camera? Yeah, trust me, I hear that in my head a lot too. Spy, as opposed to the Spice camera, which we actually look up the Spice Girls. So let's go. Okay, so my back leg, which is bothering me now. Quit it. Back leg and front leg. So let's grab these two masters. Okay. And we'll do Command P. Seriously? Quit it. Try it again. Command P. Thank you. Now, why did I get that little alert? It's because the way it's something you all may not know, but the way my screen is set up is if I roll my cursor into this area, this is the area that's highlighted. It's called focus on mouse enter. It's one of the preferences. And if I move my cursor to the node view, like you see this little red line around here, it just means that area is active. Okay, so this one we'll call our lower body peg. Okay, and this time I'm actually going to move this one. This one I actually don't have to do any copying because come back up here. This is kind of going to go right at the hip. Yeah, cool, that works. Great. Now, got all that going on. Let's grab this other one. Where's our upper body? Bring you up there. I can select both of these. Make sure you're lined up evenly. Thank you. And last but not least, grab these two. Let's make one more peg. Command P, Control P on PC. Really, dude? Quit it. And this is going to be our, technically it's our dude master peg, I think. MSTR dash peg. Great. And dude is a biped, which means usually his pivot point would be down at his feet. There. Now, what does this mean? That's pretty much our rig for the most part. I think so. And the sad part is people going like, it's just a stick figure, dude. How complex could it be? Well, technically it's not complex. It's just set up this way so you can move and animate things a little easier. And again, the shortcut on my keyboard, if I press the letter, I keep saying letter, if I press the number 0, boom, there is my main timeline. And there's the dude master peg, so it grabs everything. Let me get rid of that keyframe there. Shouldn't be anything. Bye-bye. Cool. What I do need to do, last but not least, is I'll go ahead and extend this because most of our drawings are only, let me press 9. They're only in one frame. So if I move my keyboard or cursor ahead, it's like, it's not there. So let me come over here to our default is what, 60 frames. So let me move down here and I'll do F5 to extend my exposure. Great. So now that is there for all 60 frames. So yeah, that is a quick little intro. If you've never seen anything rigged in Harmony, and don't get me wrong, yeah, this is not going to be winning me any awards anytime soon. But the deal is, this is how the rig works. I can press B, go up the hierarchy, like there, press B again, go up the hierarchy. Let's do a little bit of, matter of fact, Tony, you know better than us. Let's do Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Okay, great. We're around time. Okay, so if I decide to drop in a keyframe at the beginning, F6. Really? Why aren't your keyframes working? Okay, keyframes there. And let's say that by this next one, let's drop in a keyframe. And what I want to do is I'll say, I don't know, maybe my foot here. Let's go press B, B. We'll have this move forward, maybe even over a little bit. And don't be afraid to point that toe. Cool. And maybe by here, let's go hand, B, B. Let's rotate there, Shift B. Put our hands on our hips, Shift B, there. B, B, go back up. Okay, coolness. Let's go B and B. 1, 2. Cool. Give a little night fever. Shift B. Okay. Not bad. A little boring. Let's do one other thing. Let's come in here, grab our entire thing. We'll shift him a little bit. Skew. Now, here's the fun part. I'm going to drop in a keyframe in the middle because I don't want that foot to slide. What do I want that foot to do? I want this foot to select B, kind of come up here, foreshorten a little bit. Yes, I'm cheating. Let's go B, B, rotate up a little bit, Shift B. Okay, I think I want to bring you in a little bit more. Yike, not that way, Tony. Rotate in. Coolness. Now, on my keyboard, I'm going to come down to my timeline. Here, my keyboard, I'll press the plus sign to give me some tweens between that. So every time I click plus, it's actually giving me more frames. And let's lock that in. Rotate. Again, I'm not trying to enter it into competitions, but there. My simple little character. And with that, that is the close of our little kickoff. There's going to be more tutorials, and starting tomorrow, we'll be bringing in our interviews from our different panelists. Tomorrow, I know we have, if I can remember nothing else, I know we have, matter of fact, I'll tell you exactly who's tomorrow. Tomorrow we have, Joanna Rodriguez. I believe she's going to be coming up around 11:15. We're going to try to do a live thing. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up with DeMille Bryant. And we have Chris Burns. He's going to be showing us and talking about some of the animation working on Blood, their little video game, it looks incredible. And last but not least, the godfather of storyboards, my good friend and colleague, Mr. Mark Simon, will be joining us, and he's going to be talking about freelancing and how freelancing doesn't have to be a crap ride. So, Tim, thank you. I imagine it's very late. Tim, what time is it where you are? Tim is joining us from Shanghai. So it's like, I'm imagining it's kind of late there. Coolness. But yeah, we've got a couple of people. I'll be sending out, if you haven't signed up already, I'll be sending out a little more information on the list of bruh, it's 1 a.m. Okay, yeah. Thank you 1,000 times. It's like Tim is from, and correct me if I'm wrong. And Tim, I always forget what is your title there. All the time you do meetings for EST. Okay, I get it. So yeah, Tim, what is, because Tim's and I want to say Tim Boom China, but I'm not sure what your title is, and I keep forgetting. And like, what is that? Don't blame my heart, blame my head. It's like, Director of Training in Toon Boom China. Yes. So, for those of you who are trying to go to China and also learn Toon Boom, hey, like, give Tim a holler. Much appreciated, sir. So yeah, we've got a lot of things coming up this week, and let me come over here and send them that little, what is that thing called? Trying to find the little things. If you haven't already, you can sign up for the summit. And why would you be signing up? Am I going to be pestering with emails? Not a lot, but in particular, we are going to be giving away some software and hardware this week, starting tomorrow. We are going to be, cheers, Tim. We're going to be giving away some classes. I think we're going to be giving away classes on Friday, but we're also going to be giving away some annual licenses for both Storyboard Pro as well as for Harmony Premium. So, cheers and thank you. I really appreciate it. It means more than you know. It's like there have been a couple of times this during trying to get the summit. Like I said, we postponed it twice, and I was wondering, like, maybe we'll skip this year. So we finally got it pulled off. But yeah, we'll be starting tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be going. I believe it's from 10 to 3 tomorrow because we'll be having our first interview showing up. So. But do me a favor, if you like this, definitely give us a thumbs up. Feel free to share this with other people. The more people that know about what we're trying to do, the more often we can do this. So, all right. So this has been Tony Ross for the 2D Animation Virtual Summit, and we're going to be signing off now. And again, we'll be starting up again tomorrow morning. And if you'd like to get some information on this, head to the sign up page. So you can actually get our updates as well as being entered into our little raffle drawings. All right. Take care. Have a good one. Logan Russ, you better call me. If you're trying to be in the lineup, dude, I want to see what you're up to, man. Peace.